City Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter distributes supplies to flood-affected residents. Master Cheng Yen visits the recycling station in Kaohsiung to thank the recycling volunteers. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. Flash floods broke out in many parts of Malaysia in December this year, including an area in Kuala Lumpur. Most of the local residents are foreign migrant workers, and their lives have been greatly affected by both the pandemic and the floods. City's Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter mobilized immediately to distribute supplies to these survivors.
After a lapse of 18 years, Taman Hak An on Old Klang Road in Kuala Lumpur was hit by floods again in December this year.
The water flooded to here. Suddenly there was water from both rivers, which rushed in all of a sudden. In less than 10 minutes, it rose to this height, and the whole house was full of water.
Ini ada tanda ini garisan ini dalam lagi ini semua habislah.
Most of the people affected by the disaster are foreign migrant workers. In July this year, due to the implementation of strengthened administrative orders due to COVID, their income was affected. And now that they are facing the flood, their lives have become more difficult.
It's hard now because a lot of things are gone. Almost everything is gone.
After the stagnant water subsided, Tzu Chi's Kuala Lumpur and Selangor chapter immediately mobilized to distribute materials to 178 families to solve the problem of lack of food and clothing.
This is some of our usual food. There's rice, oil, and some rice noodles. Of course, there are also face masks.
The smiles on the faces of the villagers after receiving these supplies are the volunteers' greatest joy.
The tornado caused serious disasters in Kentucky. A mountain candle factory was destroyed in the disaster. Many factory employees, even though they escaped, suffered minor or serious injuries. City volunteers distribute cash cards for the second time, helping the employees of the candle factory.
The company says 8 other workers are still missing.
After December tornadoes tore through western Kentucky, a candle factory was hit, killing 9 people in a matter of seconds. Linda, an employee injured in the incident, recalled her terrifying experience as she received emergency aid from Tzu Chi.
Linda, help me. I can't move, and I can't move either. Nobody can move because all the buildings collapsing on the top of us.
Tengo $1,000 que me ha dado la fundación.
I have $1,000 that Tzu Chi gave me, and I feel very grateful for the help. It's a lot of help for me, because I lost my car. And I didn't have full coverage insurance on my car, but I had liability. They told me that your insurance cannot cover damage you lose your car, and I still have to keep paying.
Y pues me dijeron no.
Nearly every impact family has a story of distress like Linda's.
Every other place I've been, they haven't, which I can understand because I do have insurance. But it does take a while. And I can use the stuff that y'all the only ones that gave me anything. So, and I'm not expecting anything. I don't, but y'all came through, and I didn't expect it. I can't help it. I get emotional. I also got a temper, so but I get emotional. I can't help it.
It's amazing how everyone's come together. I mean, from all countries and cities, everybody just takes something like this to get everybody to come together, and that shouldn't be like that. Love should be everywhere.
To help with the Tzu Chi's distribution efforts, local volunteers, including a family of 3 generations, pitch in.
And this is my calling. It's been this way helping for years. But this is the first time I've actually done anything like this. And I'm looking forward to help in every way I can. When time comes, y'all need me, I'm going to help.
When something happens like this, I feel like, if I'm able to, I should help. because that's just the type of person I am and the way I do things. I just want to help.
With the goal of comforting shaken families, Tzu Chi volunteers remain steadfast in spreading peace and blessings.
The new year is approaching, but for these crew members, they have no choice but to return home as the missing ship owners still owes them wages. The container ship Yearend has been stranded in Taipei port for more than 2 years. There are 7 crew members, including 6 Myanmar nationals who are feeling homesick.
Every Wednesday, volunteers take a trip to visit Taipei port. The Yearend has stayed in the Taipei port for more than 2 years and 2 months. From the end of the previous year to the present, is now already preparing to celebrate the 3rd New Year. But this time, the crew feels that they are no longer alone. Although some may not be good at singing, following the volunteers' sign language moves helps warm the hearts of the 6 Myanmar crew members braving the cold wind.
It contains mung beans, salt, and bananas. The store said that this is the last one left. Then everyone will share it and everyone have the flavor of the new year. This braised soup will let everyone eat hot pot. You can use it for hot pot, the braised and glutinous rice.
Mother's love leads her to be concerned during New Year as these people can't return home and may be hungry.
They are saying they are going to give up. They don't want to stay anymore. Who did ask for their salary? This question we will help them with later.
Page after page, I can't wait to share. Each one is full of compassion and loving thoughts.
As the temperature in northern Taiwan dropped, Keelung City volunteers prepare warm items and ginger tea for the homeless people. Let's take a look.
The cold winter supplies were moved into the Keelung Jingsi Hall to pack, and they were ready to be given to the homeless people at night. Volunteers collect a lot of unused thermos cups through the social media. After being scrubbed and disinfected, they were filled with ginger tea, getting ready to be sent to homeless people. After nightfall, homeless people huddled against the wall at Keelung Railway Station. Volunteers greet them one by one and gave heartwarming gifts.
Almost all homeless people are in difficulties and sufferings. The master said that there are people who cannot get out of suffering, and we, the blessed people, should walk in and care for them. In such a cold weather, we will try our best to help.
Volunteers are also walking on the streets in the rain, looking for people who need help, and bring them a cup of hot drink and a coat to keep them warm at this moment.
In Taiwan 2 years ago, Tima discovered that Mrs. Liu has been taking care of her son who suffered a stroke. She was very stressed and this family needed an electric bed for her son. Therefore, Tzu Chi delivered one to them. However, improper use broke a handle on the bed. After the volunteers learned about it, they came to replace it with a metal one.
After the son suffered from stroke, it disabled his mobility, so he has to depend on his aging mother to care for him.
I tried to get him to stand up, but his left side is paralyzed, and he isn't serious about doing rehabilitation, so his left foot cannot stand firmly on the ground. This is what worries his mother.
Caring for her son, the mother has been stressed out, so the team contacted a Tzu Chi assistive device group and gave the family a medical electric bed. The bed came in May, but in less than 3 days, the handle broke. Due to the pandemic, the mother didn't call the volunteers about it.
I forgot the volunteer's phone number, or I would have called him. He's very kind and very good. He will visit us often. For the past 3 months, I didn't dare to tell him because the medical bed is so heavy. I didn't dare to call him to fix it. People didn't dare to come to our home either.
When the pandemic improved, the volunteers visited this family and saw the problem. They fixed it immediately.
I changed the handle to a metal one. The last one was made with aluminum, so it was softer. When he was holding it, the handle would shake. I worried that he would fall down.
The medical electrical bed is good. I feel it is good and also safer. My last bed was this high, so it wasn't convenient.
Home visitation, medical care from TIMA, and assistive device will help this family. The volunteers hope that the son's conditions will improve in the future.
Master Cheng Yen visited a recycling station at Kaohsiung Jingsi and thanked all recycling volunteers for their dedication, praised the efficient recycling ways, as well as cherished the volunteers for doing their best to clean the earth.
Children are like little stars, conveying warmth and enthusiasm. Master Cheng Yen went to the recycling station at Kaohsiung Jingsi to care about how to deal with the large amount of paper meal boxes during the pandemic.
This meal box has PE film in it, so it has to be treated after being recycled. The government also wants us to help, so there's a subsidy for the recycling manufacturers to deal with the meal boxes.
Recycling volunteers always want to do recycling in a nicer and faster way, but are often too busy to protect themselves. The master cherishes volunteers and also admires their extremely high efficiency in handling recyclables.
She also learned to pack plastic bottles. Now she's teaching a retired judge who's getting interested in doing recycling. For plastic bags, if they're not compressed, a truck can only carry about 400 kilograms. But if compressed into bricks, a truck can carry 2 tons. It can be used to make a dragonfly. After being recycled, it can be turned to plastic Easter pellets to make small animals like ants.
Every bit is love. At the recycling station, the senior volunteers need the new ones as hundreds of volunteers are improving themselves in protecting the environment.
Thank you, Master, for allowing me to do recycling in Tzu Chi recycling station. I've been doing this for more than 20 years. Thank you, Master.
Recycling stations have inspired many people to join the Tzu Chi family with joy, cleaning the earth together.
Kaohsiung's Yearend blessing ceremony invited our kindergarteners to launch their own mini version of the Dharma boat. Many people brought back their bamboo coin banks to help the vaccine fund. Here's more.
DaAi kindergarten children participate in a Dharma Sea performance, which is full of vigor. In fact, they also have a mini version of the Dharma boat, which is full of bamboo coin banks.
We use a small trailer and I use some recycled carton boards. We put it to the side and make it into a Dharma boat.
On the heads of the children is also a shining little star, which are all handmade from materials from nature.
The outer wings are the bark of a malapari tree, and the seeds on the lower body are silver leaf roots, and the eyes are sapindus. The tentacles are juniper. It is just like the master says, our earth needs to be clean to be able to have these fireflies.
A little bit of love takes root since childhood.
My grandma would take recyclables to the recycling station and give the money to me to save in the bamboo coin bank. The children know that the epidemic is serious. We previously suspended classes. Through such little money, we can do great kindness, gathering everyone's little love into big love.
Children received red envelopes of blessings and wisdom from Jingsa Bo Dharma masters and also made good wishes.
Since everyone likes my animals, tell me how should we treat them? Master Cheng Yen is in Kaohsiung, Taiwan, presiding over the year-end ceremonies. Pan Zhenfa was once a very strict security head in prison. After he joined Tzu Chi, he started to become gentler while dealing with people. Eventually, he became a Buddhist chaplain in the prison, and he often shares Master's teachings with the inmates.
I really abhorred bad people. Half a year after I went to work in the prison, I'd earned myself a nickname, Demonic Head of Security. The master tells us to do recycling with our hands, so since the recycling station was founded, my wife and I have been doing recycling there every day. And sometimes the amount we recycle for one day can amount to 20 to 30 bags.
He once suffered a stroke in his right eye, but it did not stop him from his devotion to Tzu Chi. He was a professional soldier and then as a head of security in prison, but his stern attitude changed.
I was very strict in my ways, but after I was certified, I started to change slowly. I want to use my work in prison to bring the master's teachings and Tzu Chi's spirit. Hopefully it can change their habits.
For 28 years, he has never slacked off with his responsibility in his daily life.
70% of water I save is from rainwater, the water used in the kitchen, or the water from the shower. I use them to flush the toilet, water the plants and the vegetables, and mop the floor.
After the 9/21 earthquake, Pan Zhenfa was shocked when he went into the disaster area.
Laid on the roadside near the funeral home of Nantou County government were 3 layers of coffins on top of each other. I counted at least 100 bodies. It got me thinking that life was impermanent, so we had to give help immediately.
每一个人哈，那都是有因缘呐，因缘把发心呐，这就是菩萨道，爱绵绵不断，不断接引哈，上重要，发昧宗门呐。 相信伫高雄地区，每一个菩萨呢，都会当了解师父伫咧做啥物，彼此之间呢，互相互动、互爱哈。
After Pan Zhenfa started raising money for the flood relief work in eastern China in 1992, he has vowed to follow the master life after life.
I will continue volunteering until I stop breathing.
Cambodia Tzu Chi volunteers went to an orphanage called Future Light Organization to hold a year-end ceremony to give the children a sense of happiness and to welcome the coming of New Year.
The stove in the kitchen is being ignited again when the volunteers are cooking, so they can allow the children to sense warmth.
It's okay to take a short leave, as long as we can give our strength or our time. We should do so to help the children grow up happily.
I prefer to eat vegetables because they can make us healthy, beautiful, and also smart.
Because of the pandemic, the Future Light organization was short of food for a while, but Tzu Chi was able to give them rice and foodstuff. For the year-end ceremony, the volunteers also bring presents to the children to fill their lives with love.
There are not many presents, but we receive the best love and care of the world.
Tzu Chi also invites care recipients and partners to attend the year-end ceremony.
This assistance doesn't help other people but yourselves and also your country, because if your country's economy becomes vibrant, your lives will also improve.
The audiences also watched the film to learn how Tzu Chi's love spreads to other parts of the world.
I first thought that Tzu Chi only gave help in Cambodia and nearby countries, but after watching the video, I realized that Tzu Chi helps every part of the world.
Tzu Chi gives help without regard to religions, so they can help anyone, whether they're Muslims or Buddhists.
They bring home rice, supplies, and also coin bags, hoping to become part of the force that can help people.
In Perak, Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers have been delivering vegetarian meal boxes to a hospital starting from December. Since most of the healthcare workers in the hospital are Muslims, the biggest difficulty faced by Tzu Chi volunteers is to find Malay restaurant operators who are willing to cook. Let's see how they achieve this mission.
Healthy vegetarian meal boxes are not common in the market. What's more, most of the medical staff at Hospital Teluk Intan in Perak are Muslims. Tzu Chi volunteers' plan to deliver vegetarian meal boxes has encountered many difficulties.
We have found many restaurants, including some Indian halal shops, to cooperate, but they're not willing to try because in their perspective, vegetarian diet is related to religion. For this restaurant, at first, the owner told us she was reluctant to do it, but after she went back and thought about it, she agreed to try.
With less oil, less salt, and no MSG, it's good for health. We also add a lot of vegetables and fruits. I'm very grateful to the healthcare workers and hope that they will be satisfied.
Appropriate or even a small amount of seasonings will make people feel that vegetarian food is healthier for the body and more friendly to the environment.
Being able to promote this vegetarian diet to the hospital and giving it to the healthcare workers here to try, I think it's a good attempt. I'm also grateful for the owner and staff of this restaurant to cooperate with us.
When I introduced this idea to my staff, they were all very excited actually. They were all looking forward to the day when the food arrived.
The food is very attractive. It's also delicious and well balanced. I'll continue to have this kind of diet.
As long as one overcomes psychological barriers, it's not difficult to change his cooking or eating habits. Being a vegetarian is also a blessing to oneself.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Canada have joined hands with a high school to distribute gift baskets to low-income refugee families. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for your support over the years. Goodbye.